I'm wrapping presents today, as you can see. I have so many kids. I have a lot of kids. And in order to like stay organized, and I try and keep everything pretty fair, I have an entire system in how I do this. So the way I do it is in my notes app, I'll try and like insert a screen. I don't know how to do that yet, so I'll have to figure that out. But what I do in there is throughout the year, I have a list and it's got each kid, and then the little circle bullet points is where I add, their gift ideas. So throughout the year, I gather ideas and then I can add and remove, depending on their likes and dislikes. And it's things like, Ryan said he wanted a Stanley this year. And I'm like, okay, so obviously like that was on my list for a while. Now maybe he doesn't want that. He still does, but I'm just using that as an example. So those are the types of things that I, add to my list. And then when it comes time to buy everything, I've already got my list. I do also ask the kids, usually like end of October-ish, I ask them to get me their Christmas lists. And I know that that seems early for some people, but because we're a blended family, the holidays just tend to be a little busier feeling for us. So they send me their Christmas list. I usually try and be done purchasing everything like by the first week or two of November. And because we also put our Christmas tree up pretty early, usually the first week or two of November. So then I start getting, the deliveries, and then the kids are able to see the gifts under the tree and have that anticipation. None of them are believers anymore, if you know what I mean. So that also makes it easier. If you have little believers, my trick in hiding this, and I can say this now because my kids, are older and also probably don't watch this, but I used to hide their Christmas gifts from, the old fella in the luggage in my closet. So like we have, the 3-piece luggage set. Well, I would like break it up, in my closet, upper tippy top shelf. They couldn't even reach it with a ladder. And I would put their gifts in there. Also, what I do is I wrap them before I hide them. And then I just like add the bows and ribbon and everything later, because then even if they snoop, they would have to unwrap it, to see what it is. So that's how I do it. Okay, so in my apps, what I do in my notes app, I will bullet point, their gifts. And then when their gift is delivered or purchased, I put the dollar amount behind it. And then, if it's something that does get delivered, I'm a huge Amazon girl. I buy everything on Amazon. It's so easy. I don't have to go to 10 stores. I don't have to fight crowds. I love it. So what I'll do is I'll put the dollar amount behind the item. So like Stanley, $45. And then when it's delivered, I check that circle box in my notes app. And then when it's wrapped, I do the strike through. So I know it's wrapped and it's under the tree, totally done. The other thing I do is I add up all of their gift amounts, because I try and keep it equal amongst all the kids, like within $20. Obviously with the older kids, it's harder. Like one year Matthew wanted AirPods, like, okay, well there goes, like majority of Christmas, right? And so, Matthew maybe only had 3 or 4 things to open that year versus the little kids had, 10 boxes or whatever. So anyways, I just keep a running tally of that. Now I have a daughter and a son, obviously multiples of them, but just using them as an example. So my daughter wants earrings, she wants some shirts, a little wind chime thing and some shoes. And so like all of these little things she wants, instead of like individually wrapping every item, if I did that, she would have, you know, like 10 or 15 boxes, right? Because some of them are really small. As to where my son wants like a computer monitor, headphones, and a keyboard. So then he's got 3 to open. Does that make sense? So what I try and do is like one of my daughter's gifts, I have like 4 or 5 things in there because they all fit in this little box. So that's how I wrap those things. What I also do is then in my row, I put in parentheses behind the dollar amount, the box number. So like obviously a box of shoes is its own box. I'm not gonna add anything to that. But the little box I just showed you that has, you know, 4 or 5 things in it, then those items will have, you know, the same box number behind it in parentheses. That way I can track. I don't know, I'm weird. Anyways, I'm trying to think of what else there is that I do. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I don't know if I said this or not. At the very bottom of each kid's list, I have the total dollar amount, and then I do a dash and however many boxes they have. So like Gabe, $274-4, right? Or, you know, Zoe, $280-6. And I try and like keep their box numbers as equal as possible. Also, at Christmas time, we take turns opening because selfishly, as a parent, as a mother, I want to watch my kids open the gifts that I've gotten them and see their reactions. And of course, I'm like the crazy mom that takes all the pictures and videos and everything. But we take turns. So each kid gets their turn and everybody watches them open their gift. And so that's another reason why it's really helpful for us to have, you know, like not 10 million boxes to open. It's just easier that way. So try and get them as equal as possible. Let's see what else. I think that's it. I would let you watch me wrap, but if my kids see this, then they'll see their gifts and we can't have that. So a little peek inside my my Saturday. I will try and get this posted later. Should be easy because there's no editing, but Merry Christmas.